Hi, greetings to you, wherever you're watching. This is Montar Tutapalo, coming to you live today, March 6, 2022. It's a Sunday, and I just think it's interesting it's an opportunity to share my thought on a few things which I think it's valuable to me and probably would also be valuable to a whole lot of people. Because of course humanity is the same irrespective of wherever you are or wherever you're born in the world. We all face the same challenges, and the few things I'm going to talk about today is just a few ideas which I find it very useful as I go about my daily activities. This is an impromptu video. I hadn't made any plans to put this video out there, but I was just sitting in here and a few ideas would just run through my mind. I'm like, maybe I should just throw this out there. It might help anybody anywhere across the world, any young person that is going through the same challenges that we all go through. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is healthcare. It's been said for thousands of years that our health is our wealth. I cannot even begin to overemphasize the importance of maintaining good healthcare. Because if you are sick, you can't do anything. The moment you find yourself being challenged by your health, you're not able to do the things which you plan to do in your own life. Either because you have to spend time in the hospital, or because you have to spend valuable resources to take care of your health yourself, or because you can no longer take care of your family, you can no longer work and become productive. So the subject of healthcare, it's very big, and that's why in most countries, healthcare it consumes a big portion of the budget of each country. And at individual levels, what can we do to uh, make sure that our health is at the optimal level? Because nobody is completely healthy. That is the way healthcare is considered by healthcare experts. However, there are a few things which we can do individually to make sure that we keep ourselves healthy to the best of our ability. The first thing which I want to talk about with regards to healthcare is diet. There's a popular saying that you are what you eat. It is true. If you look at the level of obesity across the world today, especially in most industrialized countries, it's shocking, it's alarming. In countries like the United States, in countries like the European Union, across the entire European Union, and in some advanced countries in Asia and Africa, obesity is really wreaking havoc in people's healthcare, because once you become obese, you start developing respiratory problems. You can no longer breathe well, you can no longer sleep well. Your heart also becomes a problem. You start developing pain in your chest when you run and stuff like that. So at one point we're talking about obesity because people eat more than their body needs. At another point we're talking about malnutrition, because in vast majorities of countries across the world, people don't have what to eat, and it's a problem that really should be concerning to all of us. So at individual level, what you eat is very important, because it contributes to to either making you very healthy or making you very sick. The second thing I want to talk about is hydration, drinking water. It is very easy that it's very simple to minimize the effect of opening up a tap and having drinkable water. uh, Even in countries where it's available, people don't drink enough. And when you drink enough, you hydrate your kidneys, you hydrate your bodies, and you empty your body produce metabolic waste, which is mostly eliminated by your kidneys and other organs. But when the more water you drink, the more you flush your kidneys and flush toxins off your body. And also, it's important to keep your body hydrated, because it's very vital for all the processes that goes on in your body. The next thing I want to talk about is smoking. Smoking cigarettes, or any of anything that goes through your respiratory system or goes through your lungs, which is not meant to go through your lung, causes problems. And to give evidence to this, if you look at the incidence of lung cancers across the globe today, it's very high. And lung cancers in most advanced country, Is one of the cancers with the highest level of incidence and the highest level of mortality. And smoking is the single most important factor when it comes to the occurrence or the emergence of lung cancers. So sm- I am not here to judge anybody. I'm just throwing out little ideas out there which might be useful for people who are concerned, who are interested in maintaining a functional health. Smoking is a problem. It's a big problem when it comes to your lungs, when it comes to your health, when it comes to spending valuable resources in terms of taking care of yourself. Because if you do not smoke, you reduce your chances of developing lung cancers by 23 times. This is research we're talking about. People that smoke are 23 times likely to develop lung cancers than people who do not smoke. And this is why I think this is a huge problem. Alcoholism. Now, alcoholism is a huge problem across the entire world. Alcohol in all its forms. And now, our liver is not meant to handle large volume of alcohol, and people have different tolerance. People become used to alcohol at different levels. And when I'm saying this, it's not in a judgmental way. I'm only trying to bring awareness to people that might be involved or people who might find this video useful. And if for any reasons you disagree with what I'm saying, it's okay, because what I'm sharing are purely my opinion. And I think that if we were to do a little dive into the occurrence of liver failure and other liver problems and other issues that come from alcoholism, beyond the individual level, it destroys our liver. And the liver, too many people don't have the luxury of having a liver transplant, or people die very young when their liver can no longer function. And beyond the immediate health on your body, it also makes you spend valuable money, which can be used for other investment or to take care of yourself and your family on alcohol. It breaks up family, it leads to domestic violence, and it's a whole cascade of things which we cannot even begin to talk about here. But just putting those four ideas with regards to your healthcare: eating the right way, hydrating your body, avoiding alcohol, excessive alcohol, and avoiding smoking cigarettes in all its forms, can be some very little ways to make sure you stay healthy. And to complement that, rest, taking out some time to rest. We are in a busy world. The world is so busy and we are all busy. But picking out some time to spend resting, either by sleeping or just sitting and relaxing and doing nothing and resting your mind and body, will go a long way to contribute towards restoration of your sense of vitality and your energy within your body, and giving you the strength and the fortitude that you need to continue with your daily activities. Now, the next item which I want to address is the idea of drug abuse. Across the world and in most part of developed and even developing countries, I think about countries like Nigeria, Cameroon, and Ghana and Uganda, abusing codeine or tramadol or many other types of drugs which is ravaging havoc amongst the young population has become a big problem for these countries. And the young sector of our population, young people really needs to pay attention to this, because drug abuse is a major problem. It destroys everything. It destroys your future. It destroys your health. It destroys our society, because these young people, they say, is the future of tomorrow. And if they are not trained the right way, if they do not take the right decisions, if they do not get mentored in the right kind of mind frame and professions and socialized in the right kind of environment, there will be no responsible citizens to take care of the country in the long run. So the issue of drug abuse is a problem that can be tackled in a multifaceted way. Individually, we can make efforts to not start using drugs, because using drug abuse begins by somebody's making a decision to try using drugs. Then if you are somebody who is already hooked on drug and cannot get yourself off by your own proper will, then you need help. There are a lot of programs in hospitals and even in other mental health facilities that can help you cope with both drug abuse and alcoholism. Now, I'm putting this out here because we have the tendency of denying it when we are hooked up to it already. Many of us will say, "Oh, we don't do drugs, or we don't drink, or we don't do this." But when we get involved in the negative consequences of it, like somebody dying unceremoniously, they do a tox and they find out the person had cocaine in his system, or somebody getting in a car crash and they take you to the hospital and they find out you were drunk. So these are the kind of things that are concerning, especially to the young population. And I'm putting this out there just as a word of caution for the younger sector, for the young people out here. It is okay. There is no shame in accepting that you are an alcoholic or you are using drugs, because when you do that, you seek the right channel, you go to the hospital, and you are treated for it, and you followed up and you become sober and you lead a productive life. But when you decide not to own up to it, then it becomes a problem. The third item I want to address is mental health. For too long, the background which I come from, which is Cameroon African, we tend to believe that mental health is something that we should not address. But I think we are making strides these days. Mental health is a huge sector of our healthcare industry. And to look around, when you see people with the extreme effects of mental health, people that are really presenting with psychosis, what we call they are really mad. That is the only thing that we see about mental health. But before we get to that level, there are a range of things we can address that will help somebody not get to that level. Having excessive anger is a mental health problem. Domestic violence is at times related to because people cannot communicate the right way. And people who just become anxious, people are depressed, people become just sad. They can't really find a balance of happiness and sadness, and you cannot explain why something that would make you happy that makes you sad, or somebody becomes indifferent in a situation where everybody is happy or sad. So there are little things which we can do, and I am not in the best position to talk about mental health because that is not my domain. However, it is important to pay attention to our mental health. How happy are you? How sad are you? How angry are you? How do you relate to social interactions? And all of these things, they have a big role to play. And if you find yourself being severely depressed or severely anxious or be unable to function normally, then you need to seek expert help. And it is okay. Most people think that once you seek expert help in the mental health domain, you consider a madman. That is not true. Seeking help for anger management is the right way to go. Seeking help for unnecessary anxiety, panic, or unnecessary sadness with depression is the right thing to do. And I'm saying this because within our communities, we tend not to accept these things but in their initial stages, but let them go out of hand, and then we deal with the disastrous consequences in the form of somebody becoming violent, or somebody becoming really psychotic, and somebody really be unmanageable. So these are things which we need to pay attention to. And then the last thing which I wanted to talk about really is social interactions. And when I talk about social interactions in this sense, it may be from spiritual perspective where you have a church you attend, or it may be from a communal perspective where you have a group where you belong to. It may be from a binary generic social perspective where you have a family of a wife, a mother, a husband, and children. Each and every human being needs to have a certain level of social interactions, and it is important for all of us to realize that living in isolation, or living alone, or trying to live isolated completely is not healthy for any human being. You want to have somebody that you call a friend, somebody you can confide in. You want to reach out and speak to your family. You want to reach out and speak to your children and speak to your siblings, and you want to have a way of social interaction, either through your church, through your mosque, through your whatever spiritual lineage you belong to, whatever social group you want to belong to. This is the last point I wanted to raise, because it is by getting affiliated to these social interactions that we learn to communicate with other people. We share our frustrations, we express our minds, we get involved in a meaningful way in our society and in our community. So this very short video was just meant to share my thoughts on a few things which I think, as somebody who is in healthcare, might go a long way to help somebody out there dealing with whatever healthcare problem to be able to better manage his or herself. I want to thank you for taking out the time to listen to my video. And if you like the video, please share it, and we will always be happy to have your feedback. Thank you. Mon tartata pala.